Hey Wonderfros, welcome back to my channel. My name is Evanie, and if you are new here, then welcome to my corner of the YouTube universe, and if you're old here, then hey guys, welcome back. Today, we're gonna be doing something I completely made up, okay? We're gonna be doing this sip and science situation. I like watching these types of videos, so I just thought I'd make one. So here we go. I'm gonna be going over 25 interesting facts about hair. Click that subscribe button so you don't miss any more videos from me, and thumbs up if you like this type of content. And without further ado, let's get into it.
I would like to get to know if I could be the kind of girl that you could be down for. Cause when I look at
So I have everything written down here so I don't get off track. And y'all, if you know something to be contrary to whatever I say in this video, definitely leave that down below in the comments section, because we're all learning and growing and kind of mooching off each other as far as information is concerned. So share, okay? Comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I'll just go ahead and get started. The first fun fact is that your hair is 50% carbon, 21% oxygen, 17% nitrogen, 6% hydrogen, and 5% sulfur. And if you guys have been following me on Instagram, sometimes on Tuesdays I'll do Texture Tuesdays and there'll be shower videos. Then you already knew that, because I'll leave these fun facts down below in the comment sections of those videos on Instagram. So definitely check that out if you have any free time. But this is kind of a way to geek out for me, because as some of you guys know, I graduated with my bachelor's in biology. I have a bachelor's of science degree, and I like science, okay? So let me know if y'all do too. The second thing is that when you blow dry your hair, a lot of people don't know that you rearrange the hydrogen bonds, and that's actually what changes the shape of your hair. And another thing that can rearrange the hydrogen bonds is good old-fashioned H2O. Yes, water can rearrange the hydrogen bonds in your hair and also change the shape of it, so it makes it flatter. As some of you guys may have noticed, it's easier to detangle when your hair is soaking wet. But another fun fact about water and hair is that it can stretch up to 30% more when it's wet. So if you think your hair gets longer when it's wet, it's not actually longer, it's just elastic. And speaking of wet hair, it eventually turns into dry hair, and we all know that shrinkage can be the enemy. But y'all, shrinkage is a sign that your hair is healthy. If your hair does not shrink up, it could be an indicator of hydro fatigue. But for the most part, don't demonize shrinkage, okay? It's a good thing. And if your hair isn't bouncing back, I think you have bigger issues. And while you can figure out a lot of things about hair by looking at it, one thing that you can't figure out is gender. Men and women actually have an identical hair structure. So there's no way to be able to tell off some hair if you're a male or if you're a female. And speaking of things that you can't tell the difference between, when I was doing the research for this video, I found out that hair and fur are exactly the same. I mean, literally indistinguishable. I wanted to know what the difference between hair and fur was, and basically a lot of different sources said there ain't none. It is a major identifier of a mammal, but there's no difference, y'all. I guess we're furry humans. That's it. And speaking of human beings, next to bone marrow, hair is the fastest growing tissue in the human body. And one single piece of hair can support up to 500 grams, which is equivalent to that of a bar of soap, which I think is pretty interesting and kind of makes me want to go out and get a bar of soap just so I can figure it out. Y'all know, listen, I use body wash. Actually, I have shampoo bars. Maybe where there's a will, there's a way. And another fun fact about the human body is that it forms all of the hair follicles that it's ever going to have by the time a fetus is 5 months and still in the womb. So everybody who's trying to make your hair thicker, sorry sis, you're way too late to this party. There's a lot of things you can do to optimize your thickness, but not a whole lot you can do to change it. However, hair color is one of those things that you can change. but only temporarily. Upwards of 75% of women actually do dye their hair or change their hair color, and while I am not one of them, I've definitely experimented with hair color in the past and I really like it, but currently you're looking at my actual hair color, dye not included. Usually the more melanin that is present in the hair, the thicker the hair strand. So individuals with blonde or red hair typically have finer hair. However, they do also tend to have higher densities, although no scientific link has been made between density and hair color. Black is recorded as one of the most common hair colors, while redheads are the least common and most recessive of hair colors, while less than 1% of the entire population in the world is naturally a redhead. If you are one of these extremely rare redheads walking this little green planet, it's because both of your parents had a genetic mutation in the MC1R gene. It is genetic recessive, so again, both of your parents would have to be carriers in order for you to get that trait. And a lot of people have the mutation, but they aren't actually redheads themselves. And speaking of genes, the genetic recessive and genetically dominant ones, curly hair is dominant to straight hair. I'm gonna let that one sink in. And textured hair as a whole can be seen through a microscope. If you look at the hair follicles of African American individuals, they are elliptical. If you look at the follicle of a Caucasian individual, they can tend to be oval, so it leaves some texture to their hair. And if you're looking at the follicle of an Asian individual, it tends to be round. One strand of hair can live on your head up to 7 years. So technically speaking, at my age of 29, some of these hairs could have started growing when I was 22. Which sounds crazy to say. Basically, they started growing when I graduated from college and they're still hanging out. Like, what? And gray hairs are not only reserved for older people. You can't actually sprout a gray hair because of stress. It takes about 14 days for a gray hair to sprout and show because you've been stressing out. So take a sip, sis. It's gonna be all right. Trichoptilosis is the scientific term for a split end, and seborrheic dermatitis is the scientific term for dandruff, which can affect people of all ages and ethnicities. Typically, individuals who produce more sebum do not have a dandruff problem, but African Americans produce the most sebum and the highest quality sebum all over their bodies. So maybe that's the secret to black don't crack. I'm gonna let that one sink in. Your hair shaft consists of 3 different layers: the cuticle, the cortex, and the medulla. The cuticle is the outermost layer of the hair shaft, and it lays flat like shingles on a roof to protect the hair. The cortex is the middle layer of the hair shaft, and it contains strength, color, and texture. And the third layer, the medulla, can be a myth to some people. It only exists in coarser hair textures, so if you have finer hair or if you have lighter colored hair, you probably don't have a medulla at all. Once your hair turns gray, it means that all of the melanin has completely come out of the cortex. But I'd rather have gray unmelanated hair than no hair at all. For individuals that are balding, they actually have to lose up to 50% of their density in order for baldness to be apparent. And those are the 25 interesting, fun, and entertaining facts that I have for you today about hair in general, not just about natural hair. I obviously focus a lot on natural hair, but there's other stats out there, y'all, just about hair in general. So I thought I would share because, like I said, I like to geek out. A sipping science situation, okay? If y'all like these types of videos, definitely let me know down below in the comment section, and thumbs up this video if you like this type of content, because I can definitely make some more of these. These are easy to edit, okay? Anyway, don't forget to subscribe down below to my world so you don't miss any more videos from me. Remember to let your spirit, soul, and hair stay lifted like an afro puff, and check out my other social media platforms and my previous uploads, y'all. And if you do, then I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.